I'm going to walk you through how I went from getting paid $2,000 to code a specific agent for a very popular website to actually coding the agent and then finally delivering it to the client. By the end of this video, you'll be able to create this exact same agent and also get paid $2,000 for it. Alright, so approximately 3 days ago, a client reached out to me asking me if I could make an agent for a very specific website that everyone knows to get a very high in demand item. And obviously I said yes. Now you guys might be wondering, what website and what product are you talking about? Guess in the comment section right now, let's see if you're right. Because it's sold out in a lot of areas, resellers, retailers, and entrepreneurs alike are all trying to get as many of this item as possible so they can flip it and make a ton of money. Any idea what the item is? It's none other than the iPhone 16 Pro. And you might be asking, Ritesh, I swear I can just go to the Apple Store right now and buy an iPhone 16 Pro. You're probably right, but here's the catch. Certain states allow for small businesses and even regular people to not have to pay sales tax. These states include New Hampshire, Alaska, and others, but my client is from New Hampshire. And because of the no sales tax policy that New Hampshire has, the iPhone 16 is selling out within seconds. So me being the experienced agent developer I am, I let the client know that yes, I can make an agent for the new iPhone 16, and yes, I will be able to get him an iPhone 16 the moment it comes back in stock with my agent. Yeah, at least I hope it does. Otherwise, I'll have to refund him all the money he's given me so far. So let's get coding and create this agent. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the iPhone 16 page. And before making any agent, what you have to do is go through the exact same process a normal human would when buying the iPhone 16, at least for the first page. So what we're gonna do is we are going to open up developer tools, and we know the first thing users will do is click iPhone 16 Pro. Then they might click, let's say, color black, then 256 GB. We're going to automate all this and actually click these elements without manually doing it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click this right here and find the selector for this element. Now, what a selector is basically a way of identifying a element. This is an element right here on your overall web page. This is the HTML. This is like the code that makes this page look the way it does. So if we highlight this right here, we see there's an input field. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically click this input field without manually doing it. And here's how we're gonna do it. So we're gonna edit attribute, data. We're gonna copy its value, okay? And now we're gonna do is do document.query selector input. Data autumn was a field, right? And it was an input tag. So if we do this, we see that we are returning this element, right? It's basically getting that element we just found. So now if we do dot click, it'll click it. So let's try that again. Let's click Pro Max, and now watch, we're gonna click this first one right here just by clicking enter. So we're running this JavaScript code right here, doing dot click, boom. See how I selected that? So now we repeat the same process for right here, for let's say the first color. Input type equals radio, name equals dimension color, value equals desert titanium. So we're gonna target this attribute with this value. So let's copy, let's do edit attribute, copy that. So now we do input value equals, again, same exact process, desert titanium, dot click, boom, it selected it. So just like that, we were able to select two elements without actually having to click it manually, just by running some code in the console. So now with this, let's keep this in mind and let's move on to the actual code itself. Okay, so we know that the browser is effectively running, so now we have to do is actually add this item to cart. And how are we gonna do that? We're going to use those selectors we found earlier and automate the clicking of the page. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do wait page dot wait for selector. And we're gonna pass in that selector that we found earlier. So it was input data autumn equals, what does it equal again? That. So we have that, and then we're gonna pass in the selector, basically waiting for this to load, waiting for this to appear on the page. Once it appears on the page, we are going to inject the JavaScript that we did earlier. So we're just gonna copy the exact code we have in the browser. So right here. Boom. It's gonna click that element, and let's see if it does that. So let's run the bot. Oh, what's gonna happen is we need to call the run function. Await, add to cart, pass in the page. And now let's run it. And we see that, there you go. It clicked the iPhone 16 Pro for us. And earlier, we also were able to click the color. So now, we can do is just copy this and repeat the exact same thing that we just did right here. We update the value of the selector into this. So take that out. And we're gonna wait for it. And now what we can do is, instead of just having to rewrite this exact same thing, like copying this and putting that here, you can do selector, and then comma selector at the end. Or for simplicity, just make this S, What this is doing is, this variable you're injecting into like the environment of the browser, it is finding that element, right, whatever it is, and it's gonna click it. Now what is that element? Well, we pass in the selector, and if you look at the attribute, is this. So doing this is the exact same as just typing this selector into right here. This is a little neater way of doing it. And now what should happen is, it will, you run the bot again, it should click both of them. It should click the iPhone 16 Pro, and then it should click the color as well. Okay, so I just realized why it didn't change the color or click the colors, because I didn't save the file. So now that I saved the file, now let's run it. And there you go, it clicked the color as well. So it did that. So now what you have to do is basically replicate this exact clicking and finding of the element on the web page by highlighting each of the elements we want to click, finding the input, finding its data autumn, right, if available, and then just doing the exact same code for each element on this page. So let's do that right now. So you all can see right here that the code looks something like this, where you are clicking every single element on the page that matters. So 256 GB, no trade-in, buy, connect to any carrier later, no Apple Care coverage, and then finally clicking the button. And once you click the button, you're going to be taken to this page. And from here, we are going to go to the next step. And it's pretty similar to what we've been doing so far, where you just find what element we have to click. So we see button type name equals proceed. So what we're going to do is make a new function now. Async function, let's say shipping. And we're going to do await page selector equals, what is it, button name equals proceed. And then we're going to do await page dot wait for selector, pass in the selector, and then do what we've been doing this entire time. And that's right there. Now, you guys might be thinking, hey, Ritesh, we've been kind of using the same code like pretty consistently. Is there a faster way to like do this without having to copy paste everything? Yes, there is. And that's where you can make a simple helper function like the following. Let's have a category for just helper functions. In this case, let's call it await async smart click. Let's take in a selector. Taking a page and a selector. What we're gonna do is this block of code that we've been repeating so many times, where we set a selector, we do a page.wait for, then we do a page.evaluate. We can just copy this right here, paste this into here, and selector is already created. So instead of having to use the same exact couple lines of code again and again, we can just call the smart click function. And let's do with pause, in case you want a pause at the end, like in this case right here. It's not required, but you never know. And then we can take the pause, and that'll be in milliseconds. Okay, so now if we were transforming this code, how would it look like? Simply, it will be await smart click with pause, page, input, Let's do a 0. So now if you look at the code that we originally had compared to now, right? So this is how the code looks now. You can see it's way smaller, way shorter, and just more concise in general. So this is how our add to cart method looks now. You can see it's much shorter than it used to be. No repeated code. It's very concise. So if you look at the code from before to now, it's significantly less lines of code, which is perfect. So now what we're gonna do is we have the add to cart. Now we do the await shipping. And the await shipping so far, all we're doing is, again, we're gonna actually just do await smart click with pause, passing the page, passing the selector, let's do 0. And now what we are going to see is after you click this, what happens next? Okay, so it looks like there's another button you got to click. Nice. This is called shopping cart. And you can see there's different ways to target a selector. You don't always have to have the tag in front of it. Sometimes you can just do the dot for the class. You can do this way without the tag. There's different ways you can target selectors. So just it's good to know a couple of ways to do it, which is why I have some nice examples right here. But we see, so we're gonna do ID equals the following, and again 0. So after you click this, what happens next? Let's see. Another button. Wow, they love their buttons. Same thing right here. So we're gonna do, and you see how we are saving so many lines of code by not having to just type out the exact same thing over and over again. Yeah, right now I'm not really using the pause feature, so maybe you don't need this extra parameter, but you never know when you might need it. In that case, let's do right here. The reason I'm putting a pause is I feel like after this page right here, there's some like delays going on. Things have to load. You don't really need it, but why not? And now here we are where we are going to basically just click this button right here and continue to the next page. Whoopsie daisy. You guys might be like, whoa, you're getting paid $2,000 for this? Exactly. Very straightforward and repeatable. And that you probably don't need that. Yeah, I just added that. I felt bad for that last parameter. Okay, so we continue shipping address. And over here, we're going to just change whatever values are in here anyways. You see New Hampshire is where we currently have. My client's in New Hampshire, but for testing purposes, you can put in your own street address. It's all fine. And yeah, now let's get to the shipping stuff, like the actual part that matters. So over here, now the job isn't to click these. We're not trying to just click this, right? We actually have to type it in. We have to type in whatever information we want to type in. So the way to do that is we are gonna have to do the await page dot wait for selector. I believe it's input. It was ID equals. Let's copy that. And now we're gonna do the same thing, but for the other fields. We're gonna type in this field, the zip code as city, state, and email address, phone number. So let's get to it. All right, so this is how the shipping code looks like. Again, pretty straightforward. I've also used some other ways to target selector. So we saw that we can, once you wait for that first selector, once you know that this shipping form is here, then we don't have to wait for the rest of them, because if this is done loading, then the rest are also, obviously done loading. It's not like this page is gonna just have this box and these boxes are still loading, right? So we only have to wait for that first selector. Then we look at the second selector. We see that the name, one, is much shorter than its entire ID. Its ID is so long. So I started targeting the name. So I have last name, And then for the next box, I have the street. This is my old address for my college. So do not pull up here. I will not be there, and you're gonna be creepy. And now also for the zip code, what happens is you see that there's already a zip code entered. If I want to change this, because this is not the zip code I live in, I have to click it 3 times and then click backspace on my keyboard. So if you're to replicate this, right, you can also just, let's say I had that back there, instead of clicking backspace, you can also just do 1, 2, 3 and just start typing right away, right? So that's what I did right here. I just had the zip code clicked 3 times and I started typing my zip code. And then I have my email. I have a fake phone number. Again, this is fake. Do not call me. I don't even know if this phone number exists, right? And then we finish up by clicking this button right here. And this will take us to the payment page. So let's now inspect the payment page. All right, so we're at the payment page, and what we have to do is click this first element right here. So we're gonna have to do that. And if you look at above, see the input field is right here. So we're gonna target the name. The name's kind of long, but I mean, we'll go for it. So we're gonna make a new function now. Async function payment. And we know what we're about to do. We're gonna pull out that smart click with pause, page, and then so input name equals that, and then 0. So that's gonna be clicked. And once this is clicked, we now have these other 3 fields you must fill out. So either credit card, I don't see a name attribute. I do see the ID. So I guess we'll just, copy the ID. In this case, remember, we're gonna have to actually type in it. So we just do page.type input ID equals. But after we click this element right here, it does take time for this to load. So we're gonna need to wait for the selector, because otherwise it's gonna be instant. So in this case, we're gonna do selector equals that. And then we're gonna do the selector. We're gonna wait for it to appear. Right? So let's wait for the selector to appear. Once it appears, we're gonna type in a credit card. Now, I'm not gonna show my credit card information. So what I usually do is fake credit card generator. Generate it. Okay, so we're gonna do. Let's just copy this. We're gonna use for a CV and stuff as well. There you go. And then we will do await page.type in the other fields as well. So expiration has this long ID. So ID equals, and then it's what? So 02/29. 02/29. Yep. And then CVV has, nice. So CVV, we're gonna do a page.type ID equals, same thing, 940. Okay, so this should type in everything that we needed to type in. And then after that, so because I would paste this in, what will the user be doing next? So 940. There, click this button. Nice. So let's copy this button right here. We're gonna do await page.click. Again, we don't need to wait for the selector because it's already there. Okay, so it's gonna click that, and then what's gonna happen is it's gonna do continue review, and the final button is gonna appear right here. So we're gonna have to do place your order. And it's the exact same ID as last time, so we can literally just probably copy paste this code. But let's do a since it's gonna take some time to load that second button, it's a smart click with pause, page. Just copy this directly and 0. And this should take us to the finish line. And we're gonna do one test. See, it was pretty repetitive, right? A lot of the same stuff over and over again. But we're gonna run it and see if this works. We are going to add some delays when it comes to the clicking. Simply because you don't want the bot to be clicking everything so fast to the point where it kind of seems like a robot, you know? So certain parts, let's add a couple of delays. The typing should be fine. We have delay right there. Smart click with pause, let's do like 500. And just to be safe, let's make these like 1500. 1000 is fine, 1500. Let's do 500. Okay, so now that we got some delays going on, so we seem like a real person who's not the fastest clicker in the world, let's run this bot. This is literally the process of bot development. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Continue review. No thanks. Oh, it clicked place your order. There you go. It worked. It finally worked. It clicked place your order and now it's going through. It should fail because the fake credit card. There's no way it should go through. Right? I'm not trying to spend $1,000 on this phone. There you go. Failed credit card, so it didn't go through. If you use a real credit card, it will go through. This basically means that this bot is finally complete and now it's time to actually deliver it and sell it to the client. So let's go do that right now. So I just finished packaging the app, which is a process where you have to basically get all the code and files you created to make your bot work into one single executable that you can give to your client so they can run it on their computer, because of course not everyone knows how to run code smoothly. I got that done, and now I'm going to do is actually call the client and make sure that everything is running smoothly on his end and that he's having no issues with the bot. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. I'm just messing with the agent you sent me right now.
Yeah, I just called to check to make sure you were able to download the bot from the drive and get it running on your computer.
Yeah, I was. I think it crashed the first couple times, but it was my firewall acting up. Drops tomorrow at 8 a.m. though, so I gotta make sure everything's working before then.
Yeah, for sure. I tested the bot like many times myself, so it should go pretty smoothly. You can edit the info for the New Hampshire zip code, so whatever store you want the bot to send the phones to, it will, and everything else is pretty straightforward. So
yeah, this is great. I hope it checks out in the morning. I can get you the remaining 600-ish of the 2K. The moment I get my first 16 Pro Max.
Yeah, sure, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. And when you do get the 16 Pro Max, you can just send a screenshot of the payment once you send that forward. And I can just confirm it on my end. But other than that, yeah, good luck on tomorrow's drop. And if anything comes up in between, let me know.
Yeah, all right, thanks. I'll hit you up if I need anything. Thanks again.
Yep, thanks. Bye. It sounds like everything is going smoothly. Just got back from the city and my client sent me 2 screenshots. The first one is this, which shows that he got an iPhone 16 Pro. Nicely done. And the second one is the remaining $560. That's a success. Join my free school community where developers, entrepreneurs, and like-minded hustlers are working on for-profit coding projects, and there are a ton of resources that will help you do the same.